I mean, we were using folders and whiteboards and text messages. There was no solution from a technology standpoint that really made sense. I cannot think of another platform similar to Magic Plan that captures this geospatial data in a way that makes as much sense. Software needs to be so good someone feels stupid to not use it.
Well, everybody, this is Ben with Magic Plan. Today, I am joined by Matt Gregory, co-founder and CEO of Apex Era and Resolve. Thanks for joining us today, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
Cool. So we have an interesting conversation for you today. We're going to be talking a lot about restoration and technology, some of the problems we're seeing in the industry, some of the potential solutions that we see on the roadmap. And we brought in Matt today because Matt's an expert. He comes from a background with direct field experience as well as software experience. So, Matt, rather than me explaining who you are, how about you give us a brief introduction of you and your experience?
Yeah, Ben, thanks for having me. I appreciate. I always liked what Magic Plan has done, and you guys really do provide a great service to this industry that's underserved in the technology that's provided to it. I come from, like I said, a background in restoration. I spent probably about 4 years as a project manager and general manager in the suburbs of Philadelphia, a mid-sized restoration company called MDL Restoration. And I saw all of these problems that existed in terms of the technology that's provided to us, to the way that we go about even going to get our websites built, or how we get our jobs in. And I wanted to do something about it. So I broke off, started a software company. It was called Restoration X, and it was, proud to get to market with it. It was my first company ever. Um, we really proud of the work, but learned a lot with it. And when I had to put that down, ultimately, I where I'm at now is Apex Era, which looked to solve more of that, getting work, getting jobs in, that need in the industry. And really excited because that's done really well. It's blown up in the past year and a half. And about to kind of hop back into the software side of things with Resolve, which I'm hoping to go where we should be live within the probably within the month. So really excited to kind of solve some of these big problems that exist in the space.
No, that's awesome. So, you said you followed Magic Plan for a while. Definitely understand there's a lot of issues that we're trying to solve in the market nowadays. And I guess for me, understanding back when you were in the field, what first got you into restoration, when you first started out in the field, and was it something you always wanted to do? Did it just kind of happen? Tell me a little bit more about that.
No, I think most of us that end up in this industry just kind of fall backwards into it. Like nobody's ever 10 years old telling their third grade teacher they want to be in restoration. Yeah, but I was unhappy at a job that I was at in property preservation. And I promptly lied on a resume and said I had more background than I did. And Mike, my boss at the time, he hired me, and we joke about that today. Thank God that he overlooked some of those lacking qualifications that I had, and took a chance on me. And I don't know. I'm a firm proponent that you're either gone in restoration, at least that you're either gone by lunch or you cling to it, and it's what you do for the rest of your life, basically. So I fell backwards into it, and I couldn't imagine ever doing anything else.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so, when in your experience back when you were, out in the field as a restorer, what were some of the common challenges that you were facing on a day-to-day basis?
I mean, we were using folders and whiteboards and text messages, and I mean, there was no solution from a technology standpoint that really made sense. And this was during COVID time, so probably 2021, 2022. Things have definitely changed a bit, but we were using these old school ways of getting our jobs done in terms of managing projects, sharing information that because at a necessity, right? Just because there wasn't anything that really made sense in terms of how we got our notes in, how we got our sketches in, how we got our, how we manage and tracked our jobs. So I just saw these issues and I was like, well, that's not right. Why is every other industry there's this great solution for, and everybody's kind of you know, uh, providing these technological solutions for everyone else. And then we're just kind of stuck yeah, we shared the photos through Dropbox. That just didn't make sense to me, and especially for an industry that's a $2 billion industry that, is only expected to rise and grow in the next 5 years. It's like, well, how come nobody's coming in to solve these problems? And I don't know. I guess I just felt compelled to.
And this is something I've always observed, right? So I've worked in software for my entire career, different types of software, but across the board, what I've seen is that adoption of new technology is typically 90% of the battle, right? There's
Yeah.
plenty of great tools out there, but there's this reluctance with folks to want to bring in a new solution and stir the pot, so to speak. Why do you think that is specifically in the restoration industry?
I think there's a lot of us being stuck in our ways, right? Like, I think we've always had this aversion to technology, but I also think like if something makes sense, software needs to be so good someone feels stupid to not use it, right? Like, so software has to be so easy to use, so simple to learn, and like so useful for somebody's day to day that if they're not using it, they feel dumb. And that just didn't exist, at least to a extent. Company Cam is a great example, and Magic Plan as well are great examples of like your. I'd be stupid to not see how these things are simple to learn and also make my life exponentially better, right? Like it's you guys do what you do and you do what you do very well. And for the most part, especially back then, like software was very complex. It was bulky. It was like there was a lot. It's still to this day, there's a lot happening in it, and nobody ever really was able to simplify the solution enough for it to make sense for a lot of these guys to learn. And it was too difficult to learn. And the technicians that we have coming in, that's a revolving door. So like if you're hiring and firing new technicians every month or 2 months, you have to train them on these softwares that are really, really complicated, and they don't use what's not complicated. So we were coming out with these like the software. I always like to say it was like Photoshop, and we needed Canva. Like we needed something that was so simple to learn, so easy to implement, that it didn't make sense for us to not. And that just like didn't exist for a long time. Magic Plan's ability to leverage these technologies in that like simple way and like be quick on it too. Like when Apple released that room plan API, and like Magic Plan just like immediately jumped on the ability to get like floor plans instantly straight from your cell
Mhm.
phone. Like that's what I mean about like how you can pivot to solutions that make sense. And one of the things that makes you guys great is like the ability to move fast and hard at the things that make sense and implement them quickly. And it's just like that type of speed to the emerging technology is like exactly what makes you guys awesome. Really always appreciated that about you guys.
Yeah, I'm actually rather interested because you talk about, Magic Plan. So I'm gonna shift the focus a little bit towards Magic Plan here just for a
Please.
moment because I'm really
Yeah.
curious from your perspective, right? So you know, you're talking about the estimating side of things, and then you take a look at what Magic Plan does was help folks capture that spatial data, which then translates
Hmm.
into an estimate for your customers. How important do you see the relationships between these software providers like Magic Plan and, in the future, for instance, like Resolve, right? With estimating, and what are some of the advantages of that over traditional methods that folks are doing?
Are massive. I mean, one of the first things I thought when you guys had reached out was like, perfect, like perfect. Like there's such a like such a need just like back to back for like this solution that makes sense in the field of the capturing this geospatial data to then translate it back to the estimating platform, the job management platform, and everything that can happen within Resolve, and its ability to like track, manage, and ultimately estimate your jobs. And there's such a need for a open ecosystem and like a strategic alliance that exists between these really, really great field solutions in terms of how. I mean, dude, we used to use like laser measures. I mean, hell, I had a tape measure. I didn't even have a laser measure for the longest time. Like I was like like really tape
Right.
measure in people's houses. And these platforms, because like really I cannot think of another platform similar to Magic Plan that captures this geospatial data in a way that makes as much sense. Like I think that just really speaks to Magic Plan's ability to understand the actual needs in the field, to like understand what technicians will and will not capture, and that ability to just like walk around the room, capture those measurements, get that information back so that a platform like Resolve can come in to say, these estimates, the estimated pricing, all of the value to this project is quickly established and provided here with great clarity.
Mhm.
Go after the job, get paid, and get paid faster.
Right. So I'll go back to one of my original points. In all of my years working in software, right, adoption is one of the biggest struggles. And I think that what I see now is that there is this large shift that there is no longer back in the day. I used to sell software for manufacturers, right? And it used to be legacy on-premise solutions, right? And that quickly shifted to SaaS, right? You were paying a monthly or an annual subscription and you had access to all the latest and greatest versions of that tool. But we talk about this ecosystem partnerships where you have one software that communicates with another. And one of the challenges is adoption, right? Not only are you asking, your team in the field to adopt one solution or your organization one solution, but oftentimes it is multiple solutions. So I'm just curious from your perspective, how do you encourage folks to make this leap, so to speak, to not only adopt a solution, but potentially adopt a new ecosystem of solutions? And how do they go about vetting the best ones for what they need to do?
Yeah. So I've never been a huge proponent of this, like, oh, we integrate with everybody, right? Like, I've never
Right.
understood that. So, like, there is an idea that this ecosystem needs to be open. It's like, sure, to a degree, but if you're using one, you don't need to use the other. So I'm not asking anybody to, I would never ask anybody to like take a lot of times guys using circle and all be together. And it's like, why? Like that those should be doing the same thing. And we need to look at like the simplicity of software in terms of like how can we condense the most amount into the simplest form, the lowest common denominator, and make it so easy to use that, like, again, they would feel dumb to not. And so while this like whole ecosystem of tools that are needed, it's like I'm not just not a proponent of that. Like I'm not a proponent of having to adopt 17 different tools to make your jobs make sense. there
Mhm.
there is a few. I mean, QuickBooks is one, like Magic Plan for some of that geospatial stuff. Like there are tools that make sense to integrate with, and then there's tools that don't make sense to integrate with. And all the times you'll be like, you'll see people like, we integrate with everybody. Well, that doesn't do anybody any good, right? Like if I'm using one, I'm not using the other. And so this ecosystem being available to everybody and integrating with everybody, it's like, I don't know, I'm not asking anybody to adopt a whole new way of doing things. I'm just saying this is a different way that makes a lot more sense. And if you want a practical way of managing your projects, if you want a practical way of managing your jobs and getting paid through an estimating platform that is clear, not ambiguous data aggregated from unknown sources, then come to us. But we're not asking you to adopt 17 different technologies to do so.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, right? Trying to find the smallest amount of solutions for the biggest amount of results, right? Not necessarily, like you said, 17 different solutions that all accomplish some of the same thing, right? For the same result,
It's like,
right?
oh, we do this, we do that. It's like
Right.
solve one problem so well and like do it better than anybody else, and then make your way, expand out if you want, but like solve that one thing you're looking to solve better than anybody else has even thought to solve it, and then go from there. And that's what we plan to do.
Cool. Well, as we reach the tail end of this, I'm just curious, is there anything really exciting that you see happening right now in the industry outside of maybe some of the impending releases on your end? Is there anything really exciting that you think people should be aware of that maybe isn't common knowledge to folks right now?
I love the shift over to, so um a good friend of mine, Mark Watley, has started to work on a way to take mortgage companies off of checks, which I think is like, like I didn't even fathom something like that could happen. Whereas like such a big issue that existed where the mortgage company was on the check, we had to go back and forth with 30 different inspections, and it was just like this huge problem. And his company Surety is looking to solve that. And then you have guys like Kahi and Kevin Dooley and those guys like trying to really solve these like I mean, we should be looking at a pints per day dehumidifier of 250 plus in the next year. Like, these guys are looking to solve these like massive, massive problems that existed for so long, and they're doing it in ways that are like really, really make sense. And it's like, that's what I love to see from the industry, is like guys trying to take a crack at all of these huge problems that existed, solving them, and moving forward. Like, I love that we are attacking these big issues, these big problems with big solutions, and you just see more and more of it by the day. I'm really a big fan of like how we're going after these things, and taking control of the technology or the systems we use and implement to solve these massive problems.